All right, it's recording now. Okay, on your worksheets, all right, and no more talking. Listen carefully. All right, on your worksheets, your first example was f of x is 2x minus 3, and g of x is x squared minus 1. So letter A was, it could come at you at a notation like this, f plus g of x, which means exactly the same as f of x plus g of x. You've seen both of those in my class, okay? So here you would go 2x minus 3 plus x squared minus 1. So I put it in parentheses. It doesn't really matter if I'm adding, but I could really mess up if I'm subtracting or dividing or something. So I'm supposed to take the first function and add it to the second function. And then you were supposed to add like terms. And so I see 1x squared. I have a 2x. I have a minus 3 and a minus 1. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 4. Any questions? All right, B is very dangerous. If B, you set it up like this, 2x minus 3 minus x squared minus 1, you will miss it. All right, because all you're doing right now, if you write it like this, is you're just subtracting the x squared. This won't make you also subtract the 1. So that's why I think it's important. Just put them in parentheses.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine too. I'm going to do f of x minus g of x like that. I strongly suggest putting your f of x and your g of x in parentheses. So that gives me 2x minus 3 minus x squared. And then when you have minus x squared minus negative 1, it gives you plus 1. Okay, but it sounds like one way or another that a lot of people knew you have to subtract this, and subtracting a negative makes it a positive. That gives me a negative x squared, a 2x minus 4. I'm wrong, it's minus 2. Sorry, I was wrong. Hang on, girls. I want everybody quiet. Yeah, I know some of you are even talking to each other about math, but I just want to be able to decipher what people need. I also don't want to talk over you today. So let me check my answer. It should be negative x squared plus 2x minus 2. It does not have to be written in that order. As long as yours looks just like mine, you could have 2x minus x squared minus 2. You could have those three items in any order as long as they have the correct sign. But it's classic, it's very expected as you go through math in upper school that you write in what we call descending order. Your books, standardized tests, and things like that are going to be going x cubed to x squared to x to the number. It's right, though, all the way through high school, unless somebody tells you to write it in descending order. Okay? Your signs have to be just like mine. You always, always have to be careful of this. All right? Please, everybody, look up here. That's a minus sign. It's not innocent. It's very, very scary. Okay? It's very, very scary. It's supposed to be a scary face. You should be scared of it enough to be careful with it. You've got to subtract everything behind it one way or another. Okay? Always. If I make a mistake or my calculus students make a mistake, a lot of times it's because of a minus sign. All right, C. Did I answer everybody's question? Okay. All right, C was f g of x, which I prefer to write as f of x times g of x. Parentheses are important here also. F of x is 2x minus 3. And g of x is x squared minus 1. You had an aggravating amount of this to do on Delta Math, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Where you had to do FOIL or distribute. So this gives me 2x cubed minus 2x minus 3x squared. A negative times a negative is a positive. You could leave it just like that because there's no like terms. In an answer choice multiple choice, you'd probably see it written in descending order by the exponents. All right, Maria, were you just offering to work that one for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the answer you got?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just took over. Jillian?
Aside from using foil, you can use distributive properties.
That is what that means. Yeah. When you're distributing, somebody made up a little acronym for multiply. The FOIL means first, outside, inside, last. But thank you for that, Jillian. If I have something like this, if I have something like that, it's not technically FOIL because there's too many things, so I'm really distributing. The A and then the B.
That's what I did.
Yes. But you see what I mean? When somebody says FOIL, they are doing distribute. All right, are we ready to move on? Sarah?
I just did it like little bit. I did it with the box.
Please don't do that, thank you though. But I'd say for high school, let's don't do that. Because I know Delta Math did it. We're not gonna have time for that in upper school for boxes. So Sarah, from now on, try just what Jillian has referred to as distribution, which I know you can do. All right, do you see how that gives you 2x cubed? Minus 2x minus 3x squared plus 3. So take the front one to everybody, take the back one to everybody. If you had another one, do that to everybody. So I would strongly push you in that direction. Okay? Now, would I count off if you did boxes? No, but you might not finish your test because it's a little slower. And I think that after my class, other teachers would frown on that if they see boxes. None of us are going to be doing that. We're just going to be distributing. So, good question. Susan?
So, at the very bottom, there wasn't like a solid answer, kind of. It was just like an expression. So the whole time, are we just combining like terms?
Yes.
Okay. And it distributing, right?
When you distribute, that would give me 2x cubed minus 2x minus 3x squared plus 3. And then, Susan, look through. If you have any like terms, you are supposed to then add them together.
But what about the minus signs? That I subtracted?
Yeah. A math teacher, again, at the upper school level, when you say add, that could mean 3 plus negative 7. Do you see what I mean? I mean, to me, addition and subtraction are all lumped together. But yeah, right. All right, so on D, we have f of x over g of x. Great questions, girls. All right, f of x is 2x minus 3 over g of x, which is x squared minus 1. And I didn't realize Delta Math would then make you divide that out. You can leave it like that until I tell you otherwise. But you couldn't on Delta Math.
No, you really couldn't. You had to like.
I understand we need to keep moving. We don't have to do, you don't have to divide.
And you put if it's fine if you put them in parentheses, right?
Yes.
Does it change?
No. But Maria, that's a great practice because if you then typed it in your calculator, it would absolutely have to be in parentheses or it wouldn't divide it right. All right, Gabby, what were you trying to say?
In Delta Math, they were having you do something, and was it like distributing?
It looks like long division is what people are telling me.
I mean, I barely remember long division, so I don't know what that would look like. However,
Let me see.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to like make you go out and do business. I just wanted to know what was the thing called.
What was what?
It would have something like 27. It would have something like x squared plus 27 over. Huh? Yes, x squared plus 27 per se over I don't know. I honestly don't know. And it would have to. It would have you like.
Hey, everybody be quiet. I'm gonna look it up. Hang on just a
Okay,
second.
I'm sorry. I'm
Thanks.
just kinda like.
Yeah. There's too many people asking questions right now, so I'm gonna get you. Just a second. All right, here's a divided by one. And so what I was saying is I would accept it if you make sure you look at the order. F is divided by G. For right now, I would accept it like this on a test, where I just see you put F
Literally.
over G.
Oh, how did you do that?
Hey girls, if you have a question, you're gonna have to raise your hand. But while your hand is raised, I tell you what, don't raise your hand until I ask if you have a question. Don't forget your question. But also, please listen to me because I may be answering your question. Okay? Ready? Because right now, being up here at the front of the room, y'all are just peppering me with questions. And I'm trying my best to answer it, and nothing's getting done. So everybody calm down and just listen. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to get out of my mouth is that for right now, I would accept if you show me that you know how to add them, subtract them, divide them, and multiply them. When you add them, you have to completely add them together, including like terms. When you subtract them, you have to make sure you distribute the negative. When you multiply, I do expect you to distribute and add like terms. For division, all I expect right now is that you put the correct one on the top and the other one on the bottom. Like this. Okay? Now, from what you're telling me and your experience, that's what I'd hoped would happen. I actually didn't check it because I've never given this assignment. When I submit the answer, it's not going to take that, even though that was the beginning setup. They wanted me to actually work it out. So then they factored or they did. Girls. So either it factored and canceled or you do long division. Neither of which we've gone over in this class yet. So it'd be extremely unfair for me to ask you to know how to do that. So thank goodness it was Delta Math and you could skip. So if you could please listen to me and hear me. It kind of should get rid of all the questions about this. I just want you to put f of x over g of x for right now. And just leave it. You don't have to reduce it. You don't have to divide it. We will go over that in detail this year. But that's not what I'm trying to get you to do right now. We're working on operations with functions. All right, questions? Sarah? I think that's what Maria was asking me. I said no. I mean, technically you don't, but it's a whole lot safer to do it. If you type it in your calculator without parentheses, you're going to get the complete wrong answer. So it's better to put this at the top, this is the bottom. It's never going to hurt. All right, other questions on this? Susan?
This question, I mean, it may seem kind of relevant, but like, I didn't know how to do exponents on the computer. A couple of like
You press the keyboard thing.
Yeah.
That was the caret thing.
But email me, okay?
Also, like,
People do that all the time. They're like, I don't know how to do this on Delta Math. And I'll send them like a little screenshot of what to do. But let me show you. Suppose I wanted to type in x to the third here. I have two choices. Right now I'm hitting the X key, and there's a little housetop key. When I hit it on my computer, it lets me go up,
oh, okay, there you go.
and then I got to push the right arrow key to get out of the top. Okay? Or you could, your friends are talking about is you could go to this keyboard. And I was watching Bailey do it today. And she was doing a good job with X to the third. And she'd done it enough to know she needed to then move on that way. Okay? Things are always fixed really fast by email or popping in the math center asking a question. Yana?
So for D, so the 2x minus 3 divided by x squared minus 1. So on paper, would we have to write those with parentheses, or just if we put it in our calculator, so that it's all equal?
Okay, Maria and Sarah have already asked me that. And Sarah, do you remember what my advice was?
She said that you probably should get into the habit of putting parentheses in because once you do put in the calculator, you will not get the correct answer if you don't put parentheses in.
On the paper.
Yes. If you type this into your calculator, you will not get the right answer. And so life is not all about typing into our calculator, but we live in a high-tech world where we use Desmos, Delta Math, and calculators. And so we got to really say what we mean and mean what we say. So what I told Maria was, no, you don't have to. But I suggested. Okay, that's why I said, make sure you're listening, because I probably already have answered the question. So Maria explicitly asked that a second ago. And then Sarah qualified it with a little bit extra question. On paper, I would accept either one of those. But Sarah, you're right, it's best to get in the habit. I got out of my mouth, it's never going to hurt anything. So why not do it? Okay? Whoa, I didn't expect that to take that long. So listen up and let's keep moving, okay? Please don't start just throwing your hands in the air. Let me get a whole section done, and chances are I've taught long enough that I know what you're going to run into. And let me talk and listen. Don't think about your question, all right? Think about what I'm saying. All right, on the next one that you had to go to, f of x was x squared minus 1, and g of x was x plus 4. All right, so a was f plus g of 2. That means you're going to find f of 2 plus g of 2. Okay? What I'm about to do is like Maria and Sarah were asking me. Do you have to do it this way? No. Do I suggest you do it this way? It's not going to hurt anything. Okay? So I'm going to find f of 2, and I'm going to add g of 2. No, you don't have to have that in parentheses. But when you subtract or multiply, you better have it in parentheses. So why not do it? Now I'm going to find f of 2, which is blank squared minus 1, and g is blank plus 4. What am I going to fill into both of the blanks? You could just say it out loud. 2. Okay? So in the front, I get 3, and in the back, I get 6. And if you got 9 for your answer, I'm super happy. You could have gone off to the side and found f of 2. You could have gone off to the side and found g of 2, and then add them together later. I'm totally okay with all of that. Danielle, were you just going to answer for me? Okay. All right, so on B, we run into f minus g of negative 3. That means I'm going to take f minus g, and I'm going to fill in negative 3. F is x squared minus 1. G is x plus 4. And Danielle and Maria would tell me I would fill in negative 3. If you don't put that in parentheses, you're probably going to miss that squared part. Okay? Especially if you're typing in your calculator. This part gave us 8. And this part gave us 1. So I got 7. Anybody else get 7 for that one?
I got 5.
All right, the answer's 7. Are y'all watching? You got 7, Sarah? All right, if you didn't get 7, let's find your mistake. That's what this is about.
7.
You got 7?
I got 7.
Okay. Victoire?
I don't know why I'm upset.
Let me look at it. really great when you have numbers, just to go ahead and fill in. So, like, you see what I'm doing? I'm filling the number here and here. However, it still should work. Okay. It should still work, but it's, when you get numbers, go ahead and do it like you. All right, C. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, that's what I said, if you don't put parentheses, you're gonna miss it. Yeah. All right, because negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So that negative's gotta be a parentheses. Well, first of all, I keep saying that negative's gotta be in parentheses. When you say 1 squared minus 1, you got negative 3 in parentheses. You're going x squared minus 1. Negative 3. It's gotta be in parentheses. Yes. Let me see where you made your mistake first. So you're fine. Are you okay?
Because I got frustrated there. You helped me with all the actions.
No, this is minus a negative 3 is 3.
I did.
And then you also have a minus 4.
C,
You
12.
gotta distribute your negatives.
C6.
Minus, that should be a negative 3.
12. I did that. Which is 4. Which is 9.
C, 2, and C. You have to make sure you distribute your all you're doing is okay when I say you subtract. Yes. Just to subtract the front of it. You never subtract the back. That's minus negative 3, which is 3. And minus 4. And 9 minus 1. Minus negative 3 is 3. Minus 4. That minus goes to everything in here.
I get it. I know why I did that.
Okay, so now for some reason it went to E. I don't know why. Alright, so, yeah. Alright, everybody get quiet again. Girls, I'm going to make like a really big slide for this. Okay? I've already said it 7 times in this class. Which sounds like I'm really mad, and I'm not. Because then I'm saying it again in pre-calculus. Hopefully by calculus I'm not saying it again. But in pre-cal, 2 years later, people look at it and go, oh my gosh. This is negative 16. This is 16. You've got to, you have to put something in parentheses. If I have x squared minus 4, if x is negative 2, and I go negative 2 squared minus 4, I'm going to miss it. I'm supposed to do negative 2, the entire thing squared. What's the answer to this? Work that out in your head. Tell me the answer. Jillian? That's definitely 1. Definitely 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay? So apparently you do believe that's minus 4, don't you? Like I just said this. That's negative 4. What does this apply to? What is being squared? Is that a squared, b squared?
No,
Tell me the difference in these two, but don't talk. I mean, you can talk to me, not to each other. Is there a difference in the black and the blue? Good. Did y'all see the difference? The black one's a squared, b squared. What is the black one commanding you to do with the squared? To do it to everything. Okay? If there's not a parentheses, your squared only applies to what's directly in front of it. That's 12. Is that 3 times 4? That's 12. That's different. That's 36. Do y'all see why I'm being so adamant about this? You can get some, I've just seen 3 papers like this. And I'm not mad at you because until you make the mistake yourself, the point doesn't really drive home. Some of you are sitting there going, what's going to be going on? If it hadn't happened to you yet, it will happen to you. I'm going from paper to paper where people are writing that as negative 11 or negative 10. And girls, that is negative 10. But that's not what's being asked of you. Let me erase this slide. What do I want you to cube there? Jillian? Only? Only the B. Okay? What do I want you to cube now? A and the B. What do I want you to square? The 2. You're just squaring the 2. That is literally telling a math student, take the negative of 2 squared. It's very different from that. Very different. This one literally means minus 2 times 2. Because that squared only applies to what you tell it to. So when you see this, it's real important that we write and type into our calculator what we mean. Okay? If you mean that to be this, you better say so. What's the answer to the purple? What are you squaring? What's negative 5 times negative 5? 25. What's the answer to the green one? It's negative 25. The parentheses matters. Did y'all see that? Now the people that made the mistake aren't even looking at the board. So all of that energy may have just been wasted. Hopefully the rest of you caught it, okay? If you see x squared minus 7, and they tell you x is negative 4, what have I told you to do before you fill in for x? Make yourself a little blank like that, and then fill in the number. Because if you don't do that, and you just go negative 4 squared minus 7, those are 2 different answers. 2 different answers. Okay? That's huge. That's what we're supposed to do in Algebra 2. I got to do that every year. And then some more in pre-cal. Sometimes in geometry. Okay? Wouldn't it be great if it hits home now? Because it's surprising. A few people were like shocked and like, I'm going to leave the room because my math teacher's crazy. Okay? When I actually wrote this on the board, it said that's negative 4. There were a few faces that went, oh no, something's wrong with her. I need a new teacher. Okay? Type in your calculator and check. Calculator's smart. It was programmed by people a lot smarter than me. It'll say negative 4 because it'll square the 2. Okay? Y'all okay with that? All right, let's move on. Let's go to E. Back to our slides. All right, so why in the world we have E, I'm not sure. And you girls, sometimes until it happens to you, all these silly examples or adamant things that I talk about don't make sense to you. But y'all may remember me telling you my Algebra 2 teacher, Miss Hodge, she made us write a whole line like this. This is f of 0 times g of 0. I remember I used to get so mad trying to finish my homework because she would make us go f of 0 times g of 0. Before she even let us on the next line fill in a number. We had to draw a parentheses first before on the next line, then I got to fill in the whatever number she gave me. But obviously now I know why she made me do that, right? Draw yourself a little parentheses for your x. All right, now Sarah, Yana, and Maria's great questions are actually going to come into play here. It's actually best to go f of 0 times g of 0 in parentheses. Find f of 0, find g of 0, and then multiply them together. Maria, I wouldn't do all that FOIL, though. I'd wait and find the numbers, okay? Like, because you were doing it kind of like Delta Math, I think. You're not the only one. But this is what Maria and I are talking about. I could go f of 0 times g of 0. I could distribute it, and at the very end, I could fill in 0. And I should get the right answer. But don't y'all agree it's easier just to fill in 0 to this one and fill in 0 to this one and multiply them together? All right, so I'm going to find f of 0. I'm going to find g of 0. And it's always better to put parentheses. And now I'm going to fill in 0. In the front, I get -1. In the back, I get 4. So I got -4. I think most of y'all are checking your work. Did a lot of you get -4, I hope?
Yes.
Questions? Questions? You got 4? I don't even know who's talking. Whose voice was that? Victoire, you got 4?
Yeah, I think I did less one. I don't know what I did wrong.
What'd you get for f of 0? You should have gotten -1.
Yeah, I got that.
What'd you get for g of 0?
4.
What's -1 times 4?
-4.
Okay. You know how you got +4? Because I don't. It sounds like you did that right.
Oh wait, no, we're doing one. Yes, I did it.
Okay, good. Susan?
And I thought that like whenever you multiply something by 0, it's 0. So
I'm not multiplying by 0 right now. I'm filling in 0 for x. Remember how I made y'all do that with the cards the other day?
Okay, I think yeah.
Okay, so remember the cards, Susan? I actually had you put 0 in right there. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So right now you're just filling in 0. You don't know what the number is yet. So you got to find f of 0. You got to find g of 0, and then you have to multiply. All right. I'm so glad I'm doing this. I almost didn't do this today. A lot more questions than I thought. All right. F over g of 7. So I'm going to find f of 7 and put it over g of 7. Here's f of 7. And here's g. Okay, then I'm going to fill in 7. On the top I get 48, which I saw a lot of you when I was checking homework. You can just leave it like that as long as it's reduced. Or you can write a mixed fraction. But make sure you reduce it. All right, the last one. Fg of 0 plus f of 6. All right, girls, to speed up on F, didn't we just do this red part on E? So I'm going to hope we got E right and copy that down. Didn't we get -4?
Yes.
So now I've got to find f of 6. So I'm going to go find function f, which is x squared minus 1. And I'm going to fill in 6. So I get -4 plus 35. So I got 31. Question? Margot?
Oh, I think I just did my multiplication wrong because I got 35, which I just think I just did wrong. Like I know it now.
I got 35. Do you mean?
No, like on like before,
Oh.
like for my for S6, I just did it wrong.
Wait, f of 6 is 35. Are you okay? Do you know what you, okay. I don't know what you did, but as long as you're okay. All right, let's do this, okay? Well, let's go ahead and finish it. I was wanting to go into my lesson, but I'll do that later. All right, okay. Now, you're looking at your graph, and on the next page, we had A, F plus G of 2. So I found F of 2, and I added G of 2. F of 2 was 0, and G of 2 was 2, so I got 2. So as an algebra teacher, I should be able to get you to do it with equations and with graphs. Both are important. All right, B, F minus G of 3. So I'm going to find F of 3 minus G of 3. F of 3 is 2, and G of 3 is 1. So I got 1. Kasia?
I wasn't really, well, I didn't do it right. Well, so how would you know what f of 2 on the graph would be?
You go out 2 and see, it tells you the point.
Okay, so it would be
So try it. Tell me
x-axis,
what G of 1 is.
g of 1. Oh, now it would be 3.
That's it.
Okay.
I give you the X, you give me the Y.
Okay.
It's just like somebody's already done all the trouble of filling into an equation and they graph their answer. So it's a little easier.
But why would it be, why would you go out, right if f of x if that's y?
Okay, I gave you the X, I'm asking for the Y. When I asked you for an F of X, I'm asking you for a Y value. So if I say F of 1, the answer is 3. My Y value is 3 when X is 1.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Girls, y'all are having too much fun over there. Stop having fun. Okay. G. F, G of 1. All right, so I'm going to find, wow, it skipped a G. All right. I'm going to find F of 1, which is 2, and G of 1, which is 3. I got 6. Okay? And then F over G of 1. All right, F of 1 was 2. G of 1 is 3. And you can just leave it like that.
Oh, we didn't have to solve it.
Like how?
It's like I divided like 2 and 2.
You did what?
I divided 2 and 2.
2 what?
And 2.
Well, it's 2 divided by 3.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you mean by 2.
Because what I did is that I went to F and I went to 1 and I got 2 and then I went to 2 on the G chart and I got 2. So I figured I'd
Oh, look, it's F of G of 1. That's F of 1 over G of 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. All right, girls, circle back. All right, next. F of X is X plus 2. G of X is 4 minus X squared. So A, I'm going to find F of G of 1. What do you find first? G of 1. So I'm going to go over here and find G of 1. 4 minus, look, X squared. I'm going to put in 1. That gives me 4 minus 1, which is 3. So G of 1 is what? 3. So I'm going to find F of 3. And so now I'm going to go to F and fill in 3. And on my final answer, did any of y'all get 5? Composite functions. Good. And I'm still not sure I'm saying your name right. Grazia?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do composite functions?
Yes, I think.
All right, just let me know if you need help with them. Claire?
We just had this, yeah.
All right, B, G of F of 3. All right, I'm going to find F of 3, which is 5, and G of 5, which is 4 minus x squared. So I get 4 minus 25, negative 21. Gabby, y'all do that. Are y'all okay over there?
Yeah.
All right.
We're getting confused.
Are y'all okay?
Yeah.
All right, C is G of 0. Okay, which kind of weird, but let's do it. G of 0. Danielle?
I'll wait till you finish that one. 'Cause
Okay.
it's about that.
G of 0. If I fill in 0 right here, I get 4. And now I've got to find G of 4. G of 4 is 4 minus 4 squared. So it's 4 minus 16. I got negative 12. Danielle, a question?
Mine isn't number C just G of 0? Because why would you do it twice?
Because it has to. G of 0.
Oh, okay.
You got to find G of 0 and then put that in. Do you see what I mean, Daniel? All right. So, next. All right, we're finding F of G of 2 for all these next ones. F of G of 2. All right, so on number 1, I have F is the square root of x plus 4, and G is x squared. Got to put these things in parentheses. All right, first thing I'm going to do here is find G of 2. G of 2, I'm finding F of G of 2. All right, so I'm going to go over here and go, G is x squared. I'm going to fill in 2. So G of 2 is 4. Then I go to F and fill in 4. And I get square root of 8. And you can just leave it like that. One day I'll teach you, we'll go over how to reduce that. Which you might already know, but
What's the answer to 1?
2 square root of 2. 2 root 2. Or did you get a decimal?
Yeah.
2.8 something, 2.82. Aren't you a little bit scared that I knew that off the top of my head?
Yeah.
I'm just like super nerdy, okay. Cassia?
Could we also, well, also, could, in addition to the square root of 8, could we have also written a rational? Or is it,
Like, give me an example.
well, because I guess it's not easily solved.
We could leave it square root of 8. You could give me a decimal. Or if you know how, you could also write it as 2 square root of 2. Those are the only 3. So I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, I think.
If you know how to reduce a radical already, that would be 2 square root of 2.
Okay, yeah.
All right, number 2. All right, so f of x is x squared plus 1. G of x is square root of x. All right, so I'm going to find G of 2, which is square root of 2. Because I'm finding f of G of 2. So I'm going to find G of 2, which is square root of 2. And then I'm going to fill it into f. We haven't done much with square roots. Do y'all know what the square root of 2 squared is?
I just put it
Squared. It's just 2. What does the square do to the square root? Hey girls, first of all, y'all need a graphing calculator. Make sure you always bring one.
Oh, I have one in my bag.
Great, thank you.
Sorry, I have it.
I did it.
Yes. The answer is 2 plus 1, which is 3.
So you were right.
The square root of 2 squared is 2. Plus 1 is 3.
My calculator gave me 1.41.
Okay, listen, Victoire. Square root of 2 is 1.414, but then you need to square it. It's the square root of 2 squared.
Plus 1.
Jillian, do you see what I was saying there? If you go 1.414 and you square it, you'll go back to 2. Hey, look up here, everybody. Everybody. What's the square root of 5 squared? That means square root of 5 times square root of 5. That's just 5.
I get it.
Okay? Let's do the square root of 7 squared. That means the square root of 7. Victoria, are you listening to me? Square root of 7. That gives me the square root of 7 times 7, which is 49. What's the square root of 49? 7. Why go around in that big circle? What happens if you square a square root? It cancels each other out. You listen to the words square root and squaring. Those are opposites. What's the square root of 25? What's 5 squared?
25.
Do you see how they're opposites of each other? All right. All these things that I didn't realize y'all didn't know, but I'm finding out. All right, number 3. It's not your fault. F of g of 2. All right, f of x is absolute value of x, and g of x is x plus 6. All right, so I'm going to find g of 2 first. G of 2 was 8. I'm moving a little bit faster. And then I'm going to fill 8 into f. I got the absolute value of 8, which is just 8. Absolute value of 8 is 8. And then number 4, f of g of 2. G of 2 was 5. And then I'm going to go f of x. My final answer is 1 over 5.
Yes.
Okay, so I thought that we would do that in like 20 minutes or less. I didn't realize we had run into so many great Algebra 2 topics. So you won't have what I have already posted for homework, because then you'd be really mad at me, because I don't think some of you would know how to do it, some of you don't. So you'll know I've got the homework readjusted, and I'll put the capital words updated, okay? That makes sense?
Yes.
So until you see the word updated, I haven't posted your real homework yet. Bye, girls. Great class. Bye.